Guard retention is the most important skill in jiu-jitsu. I break this down into when you're sitting up and when you're on your back. Often when your opponent's passing your guard, he's gonna have you on your back and you have to know how to defend from there. And once you're on your back, there's two main styles that you can defend with. Classically, a lot of people stay flat on their back with their feet up defending, and this is like a very traditional way. Another method that's really useful is tilting on your side and playing from a side tilt position. Both have use, but the side tilt position is a little bit less common. And so this video, I'm gonna do a breakdown and some of the best attributes of this and how you can incorporate it into your game. As always, guys, if you like the content, be sure to like, share, subscribe to help support the channel. So the first main attribute of the side tilt position is that you have to understand for anyone to pass your guard, they have to get your shoulder blades flat to the mat and over top of you chest to chest, right? So when you start in a side tilt position, your shoulders are already off the mat in a sideways position. So even if they clear your legs, they still have to get through the difficulty of flattening your shoulder blades to the mat, which allows you to either turn into a double leg, frame, get your legs back in play, and continue to defend.
For him to finish any guard pass, as he comes around, eventually he needs to get both of my shoulder blades to the mat so he can come down into a side control finish, right? If my shoulders are already off the mat, if he clears my legs, clear it. See, even though he's already cleared my legs, he still now has to do that. So come down into side control. Even here, I still have the ability to fight. You can come into a double leg, you can push off and keep scrambling. So it adds an extra layer of defense that he has to deal with. I'm heavily defending to the left side, but if he starts to pass to my left, my back can get exposed a little bit. We'll switch to the other side. Here, if he starts to pass this way a little bit, my back is exposed. So often to defend that, there is really good ways to defend it. I'm gonna go into next using this. But if he gets around a lot, I'm gonna have to go flat to defend. Otherwise, I'm gonna risk exposing my back.
Another huge aspect of this positioning is that your legs are in alignment with the direction your opponent's passing. Your opponent's gonna be passing, running left to right to try to pass you. And if you're on your side, your feet are in alignment to follow that direction. When you're centered, your feet can mainly go up and down. And of course, you can still lasso and throw your legs, but it takes a lot more hip mobility to do that. So this position is a little bit more natural for tracing your opponent and keeping them in front of you.
My legs, when I'm on my side, are in an angle that's easier to track his body movement. If you think about it, if I'm dead center, if he's walking over this way, for example, this outside leg has to come over to recompose, but my legs are aligned this way, so it's harder to follow his body, right? But if I'm here and he starts passing this way, even this bottom leg can hook and I can keep pulling myself back to this position where I put him in front of me. If he starts walking this way, see, I can use my outside leg over here on the knee. If he grabs my pant leg, I could use it in the bicep. Both my hands are blocking the side. I recenter here. He starts to go this way. I can use this underfoot to keep pulling center. So this kind of factor makes it a lot easier to recompose, as well as it's easier to sit up and push away and start moving from here. Another useful movement here is if he grabs this bottom pant leg is I can put this foot in the bicep. So if he keeps walking that way, keep walking that way. See, I can even use that to help recenter. So in general, it's just a lot easier to find ways to keep the guy in front of you when your legs can move like this.
This position also makes it a lot easier to keep distance when you're fighting on your back. The two main jobs of your opponent passing you is to flatten your shoulder blades, and the other one is to get over top of you. If you can maintain distance, it's very difficult for someone to pass your guard. It's analogous to like boxing. Even if I'm a bad boxer, if I'm 10 feet away from my opponent, he can't punch me. So the more distance you maintain, the more safety you have in your guard. And because when I'm on my side, I can put all of my weight on my bottom hip bone, and it makes it much easier using my feet and my hands to push and create space and maintain that distance to defend my guard.
One of the key features of defending your guard is the more distance I have, the safer I am. If he gets over top of me, it always becomes hard to defend my guard. So sometimes when I'm centered, if the guy gets really close, it can be harder to create space. You get kind of stuck on your back. When you're on your side, it's a little bit easier to back away. So if he steps forward with this right leg, I can push off this and slide myself away. And even if he backs up when I push, it still accomplishes the same purpose. So some people, when they drive their knee in or their weight in, they're very strong and they're firm. So that gives me like a support, stay there. That gives me a support system to slide off of, right? But you might go with another partner, when you push here, he just steps his leg back. That's fine too. It makes it easier to create the space, right? So it's easier to create distance with both the feet and the hands. Also, if I really don't like a position, coming up to a technical stand-up, I'm already halfway there. I just come up to my left forearm, I can scoot back. Also, part of the reason it's so much easier to slide away is there's less of me on the floor. When I'm in this position, I kind of angle my left foot up as much as you can, and I try to support all my body weight on this like left hip bone here. If you like to play it on the right side, you can do that too. On this like left hip bone here. If you think of a top, the less that there is on the floor, the easier it spins, right? So when you're flat, sometimes even if you're crunched, you can get a little stuck. But when you're side like this, if he starts walking this way, that ability makes it so much easier to spin. If we're like on the other side here, go around that way. So start going that way and come into me. You see, it's a lot easier to spin and create the distance with the hip on the floor, where sometimes when you get flat, you get a little bit more stuck.
A huge offensive aspect of this positioning is that you have a lot of momentum when you switch from being on your side to flat or on your side to the other side. When you're flat back, it's very hard to create momentum to off balance your opponent. But when you're on your side, as you rotate back, if you have a collar grip, if you have a deep lasso, it's very easy to use that rock to off balance your opponent overhead. And this can make it very easy to either set up a collar drag, to set up X guard, to set up matrices, to set up cross guard, and this can be used to do so many different attacks.
The fact that I'm on my side gives me momentum when I center up, right? If I'm already flat, it's hard to have momentum to off balance him. And there's a lot of different ways I could do this. Like one way is like, say I was in De La Hiva, if I'm side tilted, I end up here. Whenever I put this foot under his tailbone and I rock back flat, it becomes really easy to lift him up in the air to bump. I could go to matrices, go to X guard, stand up, tons of options there. If he's left leg leading, like cut in with like a left knee, right? Like here, I can be here in this kind of keymaster position and I can off balance really easy that way. Sometimes I could be playing like a collar sleeve position here, like this. I'm on my side, I butterfly hook here. And when I switch from my side to center, that makes it really easy to create that off balance. One more cool one I really like, go down to like one knee up, is sometimes I might get a deep lasso even, right? And now when the guy stands up, stand up, when I go from here like this and I center up, I can create a lot of force forward, and that creates a lot of positions that I can start building off as well, right? So just that factor that you have that side tilt, even if I like came up really quick, like if I was here and then he backs up a little bit and then I get the collar now from here, that switch creates momentum. So that transitioning side to side gives you a lot of extra attacks.
So I'm going to give you guys a few different ways you can use this positioning to set up different guards that you might like to play. But before I get into those details, if you guys have any requests for future videos, please comment and let me know what you would like to see next.
Okay, so I just want to give some practical application here. So this is a great defensive position, but to start attacking, I have to get grips on him. So what grips he's going to give me are going to depend on how he approaches. So if he goes with like this hand first, a lot of times I'll break this grip, and now I could like go foot on hip, switch to the other side, and play collar sleeve on the other side. If he's left leg leading here, a lot of times I'll go for a deep lasso here, and then now I can center up and start creating off balance to the other side and go from here. If I'm playing this position and he grabs the pants, sometimes I'll just go foot and bicep and I come up and grab the collar. From here, I can start pulling him across to like De La Hiva and off balancing there. Of course, you can mix this in with any guards you already like to play. Sometimes when I'm here, he won't give me the sleeves. I'll kind of catch this pant leg here, and now I'll play like this. If he tries to deal with this leg with either hand, that gives me access to the sleeve. From here, I could start underhooking and going into like a cross guard game. I could X hook and pull under and start off balancing there, right? All these things start opening up. Another one I really like is when I get this pant leg here, is if he tries to drive in with his left knee, right? I can grab the collar and off balance out that way and start building from there. So again, this is more of a principle video. It's not a full system where I break it down by position, but if you just understand this pattern, you're gonna see it in a lot of other guard positions that you play. So just kind of keep the main ideas of this video in mind and think of all the guards you already play and how you can incorporate this. Even if you're playing like spider guard, I play spider guard centered a lot, but you can also play it a little bit side tilted. So it's just something to keep an eye out for.
All right, guys, hope you liked the video. If you haven't checked out my website yet, be sure to check it out. I put the link in the description. I have a lot of different free series on there that's a little bit easier to be organized on a site rather than on YouTube, as well as I have a new collar sleeve instructional out that details my entire collar sleeve system that I'm updating over time as well. Thanks a lot.